Welcome back to Incredibly Everyone. I am your host, Joey, joined here today by my co-host, Uchi. Oh, I went the wrong way. The one time I went the wrong way.
It's all good.
We are hot off the tail end of 2024. It is now 2025. Welcome, Happy New Year. We just both finished up watching What If Season 3, and we are here to give you our thoughts and opinions of What If Season 3. It's done. What If is done, apparently.
Crazy.
For forever, which I feel like What If is the one property that probably should not have like a definitive end. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
First things first, we got 8 whole episodes. What are your initial thoughts after it? Because I don't know if you did what I did. I ended up binging it all yesterday, today to kind of wrap up and get through it. How are you feeling now that it's over?
I watched it in chunks
Mhm.
because I'm sure a lot of people were gonna relate to this. Totally forgot this was coming out.
I forgot it was coming out, and then I forgot it was coming out every day for 8 days.
Right.
So then it was like final episode tomorrow. I'm like, okay.
It's
Oop.
like a cool little holiday, I guess, tradition that
Mhm.
I guess they had for the last few years. And now since now that they're not doing it anymore, apparently, I guess I don't know how they're gonna fill that or if they're gonna do that model anymore.
Right.
But I'm sure if you were like a kid that was on winter break and
It's probably
you
great.
yeah, right? Like you got to we look forward to a brand new
Yeah.
episode every day. Very fun. But overall, I thought it was fine. I did enjoy what we saw. I will say the Howard the Duck and Darcy episode had me asking hella questions. And
Instead of
that's no
instead of
pun
what if
intended.
you were asking why? Is that what you were doing?
Dude, I first of all, I was like, how did this get approved? And like I personally haven't seen any backlash or comments regarding that. I feel like and if it did happen, we missed it because I'm sure a lot of people, like anything else, as soon as something comes out, it gets spoiled for everybody.
Yeah, I think it was very much so like contained to that night. Everyone was
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck is this?" Because
Yeah.
much like you, I also was like, okay, when I heard about it. And so going into the episode, I think I was already predisposed to like this is gonna suck. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I'm like highlighting this episode because of the obvious like, bro, why are they having Howard having relations with Darcy, bro? Like that's a duck and a human. What are we doing? And she had an egg.
She had an egg.
Son, like dude, you don't understand. Crystal and I were just like, "What is this?" Like
Yeah.
the whole episode. Like I could not believe I'm like they really were okay with doing all of this. Like this was like to them I was surprised. I was like, "Okay."
And not only that, they pulled like every villain ever in the MCU into this episode to chase that fucking egg. Which I
Yes.
was like, I know they obviously didn't bring back all the voice actors or all the actors to do the voices, but it was still so surprising that it went from a concept of like Darcy and Howard are having a baby and then they're going on a trip and then all of a sudden fucking Thanos is showing up. It just kept snowballing into a bigger and bigger mess the entire time. And then Birdie gets hashed and I'm like, okay, fucking now what?
I
Then she
first
shows up in the penultimate episode at fully an adult. It's
yeah,
like,
well,
what?
that's the perk of animating and having a multiversal, that's what you could do at your disposal. It's like
I guess.
the whole what if formula is basically like you show us a bunch of different scenarios, right? And some are way cooler than others, granted, and
Yes.
that's totally subjective. It's up to you on
Mhm.
what you think is cooler or not. But then what usually and actually what ends up happening every time is it all kinda bundles itself into the grandiose finale that usually takes a few episodes
Yeah, 2
to
or 3.
then wrap up and resolve.
Mhm.
And so this episode was there to just establish Birdie, who I had no prior knowledge about.
I don't think Birdie's an actual character.
Yeah, so
Uh,
that's another
yeah.
thing because like, it was great to see Kahori back,
Yes, shout outs.
right? Shout outs to Kaori, but like, bro, I was like, this has to be a new character. I've never heard of this
Yeah.
creation. I've never heard of Marvel actually like doing some bestiality type shit in their stuff and
Right.
being okay with it and letting it
Yeah.
rock and going this far. And like I guess like the justification if I'm in their shoes is like, oh, like, it's a funny gag.
Right.
But now
I
it's like, but
guess.
it's 20 and now it's 2025. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, we're in a new age now where it's just like, you got people out there that are really about that life. And that's wild. Okay? We're not, I'm
Not here.
sorry, but we're
Unincredibly, we
not
are not there.
I'm not with it. I know Lola Bunny really fucked up a lot of y'all as kids. And I'm sure that's the main
As
reason
adults
why
too, I'm
a
sure.
lot of people are, they swing in that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm just saying, I would my me and my fiance were not we were not there with it. We were
Yeah,
just so as soon as the episode was done, we're just like, okay,
yeah. Don't need
the
that.
next one. And
I I want more Howard the Duck, okay? This is not how I wanted more Howard the Duck. I think Howard the Duck is a funny character, it's a good character, but we've only seen him in gags in Guardians 2?
yeah, he was like,
Guardians 3, he was the Collector had him
right,
at
right,
one
right,
point,
right.
and it was his lab, and then we saw him in season 2 of What If, I believe, and then season 3 now. I'm just like, "This is not how I wanna see these characters." Like, this is I want more Darcy outside of the Thor movies, you know?
I love
Make
her as a
this hap
character. I
Yeah,
think
she's great.
Darcy is
Yeah.
amazing.
Kat
But
Dennings is an incredible actress.
yeah.
Darcy's a great character. This is not how we want this, and so, like,
No.
I had wrote up this whole spiel today because, like, I just watched the episode and then I had to go do some shit, and so while I was doing this stuff, I was, like, thinking, I was like, "This is the problem with What If." The writers are creating fan fiction of the characters that they want to see have these episodes, but there's it feels so disconnected from what the actual fans want. If
Okay.
especially, like, an episode like this, it's like, who asked for this? Nobody asked for Howard the Duck and Darcy to have a kid,
No.
right? If you're gonna make an original character, make another Kaori for
Mm.
the MCU, who people loved. Everybody loved her. And in the finale, when she was spoilers, when she was running around doing her whole speedster shit with the Watcher powers, and it's like, "Bah," and like that was so sick. Like I'm all for it. But
Right.
Birdie could not care about. If you're gonna make original characters, at least make them good. Like make them people that we want to grow attached to, like Kaori, instead of Darcy the Duck. Darcy the Duck? Well, I guess she is Darcy the Duck. Not Darcy the Duck, Birdie the Duck. Don't give us another Birdie the Duck. But it doesn't matter anymore because it's over, right? And the other thing is like, I don't want What If to end, right? What I
Right.
want is them to create stories with the characters that we love and care about in exciting and new ways. Like the end scene when it showed was like, this is Peter with like 6 arms, and this is Ghost Rider if he was like a shogun, and like all this other
It's
shit.
like, "Oh, where's those
I'm
episodes?"
like, those are the episodes that should have got made. Why did Birdie the fucking duck become like one of the main characters of the whole thing? But
Yeah.
like, don't get me wrong, we kind of got glimpses of what could have been with the storm wielding Mjolnir as
Ooh.
right. Like that was perfection. That's something that everybody has probably wanted to see, has fan casted their entire lives. It's like combine the two, and it was wonderful,
I will
fantastic.
add, well, since you brought up Storm, that I forgot that they got the original actress to
Oh
voice Storm from the
yes,
animated series. I'm like, first of all, she better be the Storm in any animated front for the rest of our lives.
yes. When
Like,
she said, "I used to be the mistress of the elements, but now I am the elements," or
oh,
whatever she said, I was
what
like,
a
it
line.
was like the hardest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I
I
was
oof.
threw my hands up. It was incredible. But, like, that's the issue I have with What If, is that we have those semblances of, like, this is how good it could be. Birdie the duck. It's like
All right. I
it's
will I will give you that because I know that you have definitely had your reserves on What If,
yeah,
and you give great points because obviously I am very accepting of a lot of
yeah,
Marvel things and just things in general because I always try to find the good in what I'm enjoying.
yeah.
and I don't spend a lot of time focusing on the things that are actual valid. Like, you're making really good points. Like, why are we doing scenarios about things that people probably don't even care all that much about
Kingo.
or at
Who cares
all?
about Kingo? Nobody's thought about Kingo since Eternals ended. Like, it's
That yo, and I'm not even gonna lie, Crystal forgot who that was.
I low key forgot who that was. Agatha
I
was
was
like, "I know just the person," and it's like, "Kingo." I'm like, "Who the fuck is Kingo?"
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
like, "Damn," like, to it's a weird feeling to almost think or even just to say that that is almost kinda like a deep cut, even though it's not, but it feels like it in a way.
Yeah,
So,
for
yeah,
sure.
I will give it to you. I will agree that what if they really did make it seem like the creators and the writers behind these seasons basically started leaning towards their own type of fan fiction and trying to just give us scenarios and characters that no one really asked for.
Mhm.
I will say though that I don't know. This is not me defending them.
No,
I'm just put it
it's
out
okay.
there.
This is a safe space.
But I will say I feel like by doing that, they're only to me, this is how I'm taking it. They're only making it obvious that Captain Carter is going
Oh,
to get re-involved
yeah,
in the actual MCU stuff because she's the constant. She has been the constant ever since the first season, and she in some way, more and more, she has become more important.
it's true.
And,
Yeah.
like, the stakes and I will give them this credit. I don't know how many more of these types of grandiose multiversal type of stories they can give us because I've had this conversation previously and I'm just like, listen, this shit is wowing us and like blowing our minds every time they give us some sort of like, damn, like we have, Thanos to start, and then it expands to the multiverse, and then the multiverse is gonna basically all come crashing because of Doom. And then what happens after that? Well, if they're leaving the multiverse, then it's just like there's more layers to this. And then what if gives you glimpses of that? And like after seeing Infinity Ultron, that was when I was like, okay, this is running out because how do you go bigger than Infinity Ultron? And so now it's like
Right.
season 3. So then they go to then it's like the Watchers, and then it's like the Watchers that watch the Watcher. So in my mind, I'm just like, "Oh, so next is the Beyonders,"
Yes.
which I'm aware of,
Yeah.
and they haven't done that in the movies yet.
Right.
And I'm just like, "Bro, the little that I know about the Watchers, shout outs to Comics Explained. The little I know about the Beyonders, rather, dude, I'm telling you, people will be so fucking dumbfounded and lost when that time comes
Yeah.
because it's like, how far back can we push this scale of, oh, so the Watcher watches all the multiverses and shit, but then
Mhm.
then the Watcher has his own set of Watchers to make sure that he's watching correctly and not getting involved. But then it's like, okay, so then you
Who
got
watches
people
them?
beyond the Watchers. You
Mhm,
know what I'm
mhm,
saying?
mhm.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, and that presumably Beyonders, but then what's a
Even past that.
beyond the Beyonder?
The Living Tribunal, and then the one above all
The
is
one up,
yeah, one above
yeah,
all, yeah. And
yeah.
then beyond them is us. So it's like
Oh, right.
yeah,
Yeah, technically,
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
No, I
so
agree. It's like where does it stop? Right? Where but I mean that's why comics are such a good medium is because you can tell all those stories and it's not a big deal. But then when you try to introduce them to the general audiences in cinema, they're like, "Wait, what the fuck? How does this work?"
yeah, that's
So,
why, to just end my point, I
yeah.
think that they should just stick to, like, first of all, they shouldn't end What If. What If should continue,
Yeah,
but
it's its own thing.
it should just be its own thing, and it should just be the direct love letter to fans, especially the ones that read the comics, so that they can get, like, their one-to-one adaptations of stories
Oh,
that they're
yeah,
probably
perfect.
not gonna do in the movies.
Yeah, don't even call it like I mean, it could be still what if, but literally just do the like what if Doc Ock swapped bodies with Spider-Man, and just make it that
Yes.
and then have it be like a superior Spider-Man story or whatever. And then just do that's a good ass idea, Ooch. Look at that. That was genius. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
And
exactly what it should be.
and we do this for free,
We do this for
unfortunately.
free, yeah, for now. Hey, we made some money, but anyway. Overall, how would you we don't gotta give it a rating. How would you say that you felt about this season?
I felt that, like, so the season as a whole, I enjoyed, but then at the same time, after talking to you about it more, it almost feels like for certain aspects, it's almost like a cop out within itself.
Mm,
And for those certain things, and I'll give you like an example. Like obviously Captain Carter being the main character focus, always the one that is solving and resolving all the issues at the end is fine if this is going to lead into her inclusion later on for Doomsday, all that kind of stuff, right? Secret Wars, cool. But then it's like you have characters like Kahori. Specifically, I want to talk about Kahori for a
mhm.
second. Was a character that was created out of nothing last year. Great. Why is she only being featured in What If then?
Yeah,
And to that point, why didn't she get another new episode
right.
that was solo or at least paired with someone else? Like we were spending time doing all this other stuff and then partially setting up this new part-time multiversal Avenger team that was still helmed by Captain Carter. You know what I'm saying?
We could have had a whole Kahori episode instead of getting the the Darcy and Howard the Duck episode.
Yo, and that's what I'm saying. Like dude, and I'm a big Power Ranger Tokusatsu guy.
Mhm,
I loved that episode, but look
mhm.
how that did nothing. That did not play any role into the outcome of how the whole thing ended.
Yeah,
Which also brings us back to what we were both saying. It's like, what if should just be a bunch of episodes that are just standalone from themselves and they don't have some grandiose connecting whatever. It's
yeah.
like I think what Marvel should do when it comes to their animated side of things, it's like, yes, it's cool to have a very big universe where everything has to do with each other. And then I guess, technically it always will because that's just how multiverse works. But I feel like fans will just appreciate it more if you just do a what if this and you do it and it ends and that's in the next episode's completely different.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like you just get to enjoy and appreciate more of what Marvel has to offer. So it's like I'm going back to my point now with Kahori. Kahori was introduced, brand new character, Native American, dope. We need more of that. So then where the fuck was her new episode then? Why is it that she was just thrown
Yeah,
in to just be a part of the team? It's like, "Oh, remember her from last year?" It's like it
yeah,
feels like a cop out and they're just trying to play nice and be like, "Oh, look, we're inclusive." Not really because you just threw her in at the end.
yeah. You wanted Captain Carter's team to have more firepower, so you created Kahori, and then you also created Birdie to give them that edge too, right? Instead of using the thousands of other characters that are just waiting to be used, like a
Yeah.
Forge or like literally any of the X-Men that could have played the role that
Yeah.
Birdie played,
It's
right? Just
yeah. That's how like this season, that's how it made me feel ultimately. And it's not
mhm,
even just for this season. It's just like oh, as a whole for What If now at this point, because
yeah,
it's like What If could have just been something way better. Looking back at it, like it was just 3 seasons of stuff that had certain moments here and there, and
yeah,
that's it. And it could have been like way more. Like if they really wanted to make people care about these certain characters, then they should have handled them better.
mhm,
And I'm thinking of even people like my brothers, for example. Like if they were to see trailers for this freaking season, they'd be like, Why should I care or why
Yeah.
should I even watch this? They're not gonna.
I was gonna say if it was not for us doing this
Yep.
and I was just a normal watcher, one, probably wouldn't watch What If. Two, if I watched it, probably wouldn't remember it. Like the only reason I really remember what happened last year was because we talked about it last year. We're talking about it now. So
Right.
it's like, and there's a few episodes that kind of stuck with me, like the Renaissance one where they were kind of like King Arthur, like medieval stuff, and then this year with the mech one will probably stay with me for a while because it was just fucking awesome. Like
Yeah,
I was so
dude.
sick. So
Yeah.
overall, I'm with you. It kind of feels like, what are we doing? And I understand it's not. Hopefully, to me, hopefully it's not going to bleed into the MCU. Uatu being in would be cool because I think the Watcher playing a role would be really interesting. Like we saw the silhouette of him in '97, which was really cool because we all kind of knew what was about to happen, right? Like we were like, oh shit, the Watcher's there. Some shit's about to go down. So to kind of
Yeah.
see that play out in the MCU would be really interesting, just because as like if you know, versus having Captain Carter show up, just like stiffing, like putting her in and being like, here's this omnipotent character that is above the Watcher or that is a Watcher. Overall, I had fun. I can't say I didn't have fun with this.
Yeah, I
But
did
I
too.
just wish that there were different decisions made, and that the comment about not knowing that Marvel held the X-Men, what like I wish that that would just disappear. So bring back What If, but bring it back as an anthology series, and also give it more sauce. Like I feel like there's so many cool things that could have happened in this show had they just had like a little, like they just turned it up one more on some like the animation. I'm not a fan of like how the people are animated in What If. The backgrounds, everything else is fantastic. It's just something about the animation style doesn't sit for me. So what are you gonna do? It's over now. So rest in peace. Goodbye. Good riddance, I guess, for now. And we'll see Captain Carter in 2026 when she saves everybody from from Doctor Doom, I guess,
They really
and the Doom
shouldn't.
bots.
Like, I guarantee you, any fan that's been paying attention to the last 15 years of, like, MCU anything
Mhm.
could come up with the way better what if scenarios. Like, what
Yes.
if the Avengers formed when the X-Men were around?
Yeah. What if Gwen Stacy was bitten? And then you get Spider-Gwen or whatever. Or what if similar to how that episode went with what if Captain Carter or what if Peggy Carter got the
Right.
like that
Right.
episode by itself, awesome. Right?
Right.
Give us that for somebody else. Like, what
Mm.
if I don't know, what if Ned was bitten instead of Peter,
No.
or like anything else. So we could figure it out. We should pitch some ideas. We should that should be a short,
That
yeah,
actually could be its own
right?
video.
Better ideas than what if Howard and Darcy had a child.
I can tell you right now, we're not the only salty ones either because Bo DeMaio was listing a bunch of episodes like, "Whoa, what if this? What if that?" I'm like,
There's a
"Damn,
whole
he."
comic series that you could have just adapted. Like the What If comic series has been a thing for a long time. Like literally just adapt. Yeah.
There's a speaking of which, I will tell you right now, what if Galactus transformed Hulk?
Yes.
That
See?
just came
Easy.
out.
An an idea is have the What If series be an anthology series, but give the ideas to different animation studios to create their own animation. I know, I think it
Ooh.
was Star Wars something. There was a Star Wars series that came out, and it basically was exactly like that. Like different animation studios were given a concept for an idea to make in the Star Wars universe, and they were all so different and so good. And I think Marvel could do the same thing where it's like we actually get like a tokusatsu Spider-Man in some kind of like an anime style. Like if Studio Trigger did it or if like anyone did it and it was just like way over the top. Like there's so many things, like have a Penny Parker animated What If, or anything like that. Lots
What if
lots of
bro,
things that could
what if
happen.
Toei oh my god, what if 1978 Spider-Man was in the MCU? Simple. Dun, dun,
Easy.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, doo, 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 doo.
What would have been
Oh,
crazy is if that Spider-Man was in the mech episode and then there was a Spider-Man mech, right?
all
Like
right.
it's literally
And
so easy.
nope, don't do
Okay,
it.
we're
We'll
done.
talk about it for another
We're
hour.
done. We're
Don't
done
do it. We're
here.
done here.
What if was mid at best? Um, and Captain Carter, you better not show up. Also, Kingo, I guess you're okay now. So thanks for watching. If you watch all the way through, I'll be back next week with more videos. Have a good year. Happy New Year. Right? Yeah, Happy New Year. So
Yeah.
we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.